friends, it's Amanda. Welcome back for more Hip Kit Club inspiration. Joining you today with a very pretty layout using our December colour kit and some leftover pieces from my December main and embellishment kits because January just hasn't quite arrived for me yet. That's a disadvantage of being in Australia. My shipping takes a teensy bit longer. So I'm using this gorgeous colour kit now to stretch my December kits just that little bit further, but I am going to use one of our January cut files. So using the colour kit at the moment to make up some papers of my own to use to back the cut file with. So I'm starting with that gorgeous marigold colour. These are all magicals that were included in the December colour kit. And as it goes on, it doesn't really look particularly golden, but as it dries, or it starts to dry, you start to already see the colour. This is the azalea pink. It's very, very pretty, this one. It's got a real rosy hint to it as well. It's just lovely. You see it's quite dark. And as always with the magicals, if you want more depth or a lighter tone, it's just a case of less or more water, so depending what you prefer. This was quite a lighter tone, and so I made a second sheet as well where just having that depth of colour. And yeah, look at the difference. So that was with the dark one was more powder, less water, and that one had a bit of blue in it. I don't know where the blue came from, but anyway, it's still very pretty and sparkly, so lots of nice shimmer in it. And yeah, beautiful for backing this gorgeous wreath cut file that is included in the January subscriber cut file. So grabbed that one there, and then while I was backing my cut files, I had all the paper left over, so I decided to draw on the back some leafy fronds and just cut them out by hand. So I did use the cut file, but I also did some hand cutting. And these pieces here were inspired by some leftover die cut pieces. And that one at the top there, that's that one there, that was actually that lovely fancy paper that was from the Crepe Paper Snowflake collection. It had the gorgeous foiled stars and snowflakes in it, and I thought, you know what, I could use those pieces to build up my cut file with, because I don't have a lot of the florals left. I've got a few, but if you saw my last video, I used quite a lot on my mini album. I'm almost out of papers, so I really needed to make the most of them. So yeah, that's what I've done there. Now once I'd backed my cut file though, I wanted to add some colour to those circular rings on the wreath. So I'm coming in with that gorgeous blue colour now. I think it's called Jana's something Jana. It's very pretty blue anyway. It's a lovely colour. It's the blue from the December colour kit. That's what we need to know. And look at that. Really, really pretty. Soft and elegant, which I love. And of course it, everything coordinates perfectly with the kit. So any bits that I had left over are going to match in just lovely. And you can see I've already gone and fussy cut quite a few of those pieces from that Crepe Paper Snowflake specialty paper that was left over, or what I had left over. I've got a few of the Snowflake die cuts that were in the So Frosty exclusives, and even a few of those ones I've cut myself. And I think there's some of the vellum stars that were included in the kits as well. So I'm just trying to maximize everything and start layering them together to create my very own flower stack. So instead of cutting them all to be perfect florals, I'm still using them as a snowflake piece, but in a way that they're no longer snowflakes, because of course it's not snowy and cold where I live at the moment. It's very, very warm actually, so making the most of that. And then I wanted to show you these little leaves I made. And they're also from the star acetate pieces. So I think they're acetate. They might be vellum. They were they were star vellum shapes. Yeah, there we go. And you can see all I've done is gone along and cut the star up to create those really simple and pretty leaves. So I'm really making the most of sort of my leftovers in my stash at the moment. So, I didn't have a full packet of things, and I didn't have, a lot of anything really. So just getting it all to work for me and stretch my kit and just make it last that little bit longer while I somewhat impatiently wait for my January kits to arrive. But in saying that, this kit was just gorgeous, and I was very partial to the colours in December. They're really, soft and pretty, and won me over because I do love pretty creating. So I'm going to use all those flower stacks and all the leaves I've pre-cut, either from the die cuts and shapes we already had, as well as the ones I drew on the back of the painted paper that we made. You can see I've got a few of the wreath pieces left over in the rose gold that were in the alpha stickers. I'm going to use them, and I'm just going to sort of pull everything together. There's the So Frosty frames. See, I hadn't even trimmed my photo up yet. I'd printed it off, and that's as far as I got. I just sort of wanted to make sure that size fitted, I think, first before I went too far. So this is just sped up so you can see this is me planning, because I wasn't 100% sure how I'd make this work. So I wanted to make sure everything fit and everything was in its place before I started considering gluing anything down. And yeah, I'm really happy with that. I do like the idea of adding the gemstones. You can see it's not even a full packet of them left. But I like the idea of adding them to the centers of the flowers that I've made. So I'm just going to show you how simple these flower stacks are. They're as easy as they look. They were really, yeah, no trick to them at all. Just a little bit of runner tape through the center. Next run on. Runner tape through the center. Next run on. And then I just start folding them as well as I go. Yeah. Just so I've got that little bit of dimension in them as well. And I just literally keep layering them. So just making sure I pick interesting colours and pattern together, or things that coordinate, or perhaps contrast together as well really beautifully. So yeah, that's a really easy way to make simple flowers. So that was a great idea when I didn't have so many die cut flowers left, and using the gemstones to form the centres of them. So isn't that cute? Have a look at this. I'll bring it up so you can see. I'll just finish folding those petals a bit more, so we've got that little bit more of that soft dimension that I love to feature. And they're fiddly. Not tricky, just fiddly. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? And that gold foil really does, rose gold foil really does bling, doesn't it? Look at those. So you can see that one has a snowflake base, the other one has a vellum star. They're just really, really pretty. So going to go ahead and start gluing things down, and because we've already got that plan in place, I'll just race through this footage, but I didn't want to cut it out because it's nice to still see the process. So see, I taped the flowers, and I was humming and hawing if I was going to stick the ring part down at the start or wait till I'd put some leafy pieces in place, but then I decided no, just stick it and commit to it. So go around and stick it all down now with my fun liner, and going to come in and arrange those flowers first, because I think those floral clusters are probably the signature part of this design, so I wanted to make sure they worked. I had a flare button that matched in beautifully. It had the gorgeous floral cluster that was also left over from my kit, so I thought that would work in beautifully. You can see I'm making a little cluster here. Again, all the snowflakes, but using them in a way that works for me, because it isn't snowy where I live, and in fact it's never snowy, so yeah, this works for me, and it's just such a pretty way to maximize your kit. And what a gorgeous cut file, and there are so many. If you have a subscription, you know that if we never let down on the cut files, and the January ones are just gorgeous. But this one, you know, it's a wreath and it had florals, so won me over, and I could see lots of potential in using all these pieces to make more florals and lots of beautiful leaves, and and even all the wreathy pieces that were left from those rose gold thicker stickers, just coming in with a bit more blue now as well. I felt it needed some more splatter and colour, and when I put the blue on, it just looked really dark, so I blot it back with a tissue, and I find that's just enough. I don't want it to be too deep, and that dries beautifully, so I'm really happy with that. A few more of those rose gold thickers again, because they really are lovely. I think I even use a few the smaller Christmas tree ones even, just to add that extra bit of, yeah, wow. And another little star and things, and thinking about a title now, and I sort of hum and haw about what I could make fit, and in the end I just decided to go with Pretty Girl. But I also wanted to add this part in. It says Cherished, because she's so cherished, but I couldn't put so cherished. I was out of O's, so I think it works. So hopefully that's okay. I know she really likes it, so I'm happy. So, and it's just really beautiful. And yes, it is the photo that I scrapped in her album the other day, but that album was for her, and this one is actually for my album of My Darling Girls. So this one's actually for me to keep. So really, really beautiful. gorgeous cut files for January, lots of lovely ways to use our colour kit, and hopefully it's inspired you to get creating today. If you've got questions or comments, you know the drill, pop them down below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks for liking, subscribing and all that jazz, and have a wonderful, happy arty days. Bye!